In a realm where big cats and stealthy reptiles reign supreme, it is almost impossible for a creature far lower on the so-called predatory scale to survive in the cutthroat world of the Amazon and beyond, let alone dominate it. Yet there exists a menace, a beast with the face of a weasel, the ferocity of a wolf, and a demonic appetite that knows no bounds, driving it to patrol its territory with unmatched brutality. Armed with 36 razor-sharp teeth, a bite force that could shatter steel at 615 pounds per square inch, and a fearless, relentless nature, this savage creature rips through crocodile skin like butter, pulverizes tortoise shells to dust, and sends jaguars fleeing in terror. Meet the killer of the deadliest of South American beasts, the giant river otter. Pionura brasiliensis, aka the giant otter, giant river otter, or giant Brazilian river otter, reigns supreme as the longest mustelid in the weasel family, which is also home to the savage honey badgers and fierce wolverines. And just like its badass relatives, this beast dominates South America's waterways with a relentless ferocity and courage unmatched by any other animal in its domain. These sleek predators prowl the waters of the Amazon, Orinoco, and La Plata river systems, carving out territories in slow-moving streams, rivers, lakes, swamps, and marshes, even venturing into flooded forests during the rainy season. Their presence alone strikes fear into the hearts of even the most dangerous of beasts in the wild, making them the true gangsters of the animal kingdom. Jaguars, caimans, and even anacondas cower in the face of the sheer savagery and courage of their attacks. One might even call them aquatic honey badgers. While their diet primarily consists of fish, including cichlids, perch, characins, piranhas, and catfish. These giants are fairly opportunistic hunters, seizing any animal foolish enough to wander into their territory. This colossal black caiman made a fatal blunder, daring to swim past an otter family, who wasted no time in launching a full-on assault, gnawing and tearing at its soft underbelly and head. For 3 excruciating hours, the otters had that beast pinned down, until it finally fled for its life, tail between its legs. Now that was a show for a fairly giant caiman. For the smaller ones, these river otters don't just intimidate. They kill and feast on them alongside other occasional prey like crabs, turtles, monkeys, and snakes, especially when the fish population around them is not enough to satisfy their bottomless pit of hunger. Not stopping there, this savage creature would even go head-to-head with an anaconda. This is once again the fruit of their never-ending hunger. For smaller anacondas, otters would have a field day hunting them down and making a meal out of them. But a bigger and more satiated anaconda presents a tougher challenge. Nevertheless, that doesn't stop them from giving it a shot and trying their luck. This fearless river otter, despite being a David against a Goliath anaconda, who could snap it like a twig in an instant, still soldiers on undeterred, sizing up the beast and weighing the pros and cons of pursuing it. But a couple of red flags from the big snake ring a bell for him and he moves on from the creature, probably to assemble its gang and come back for round 2. You never know. These bad boys hunt with a precision that's straight up terrifying. With whiskers so sensitive they can feel a heartbeat through water, these beasts are always one step ahead. Their legs are short and stubby, but when you combine those lethal webbed toes with their razor-sharp claws and rippling muscular bodies, you have a killing machine that can blast through 330 feet of water in under 30 seconds. Staying submerged, they can seal their ears and nose for up to 8 minutes. However, despite this ideal physique, a lot of its hunting still hangs on the use of their vision, especially above water. Their powerful eyes allow them to spot prey from miles away, calculate distances, and strike with deadly accuracy. When the prey is spotted, the river otter kicks off a wild and chaotic pursuit, darting and weaving through the shallows with lightning speed. Even when it misses, it doesn't skip a beat and swiftly moves on to the next attempt. These river assassins can strike from both above and below, pulling off last-second twists to snatch their prey in those powerful jaws. Once they've got their catch, they grab it tight between their forepaws and tear into it with noisy relish, usually delivering a lethal first bite. This feeding frenzy doesn't stop until a giant river otter has devoured at least 10% of its body weight each day. Generally, the giant river otter prefers to go solo when it comes to dealing with its prey. However, when faced with a catch that's too big to handle, it rounds up its crew and embarks on a wild rampage. During these nail-biting hunting sessions, every otter in their gang has its own dedicated task. Some are for going on the offensive, some are there to distract, others block the escape routes, and they all make a racket to keep everyone in the loop for immediate action. An average male of this species tips the scales at 57 to 71 pounds, while the females range from 49 to 57 pounds. Back in the day, these terrifying creatures were even bigger, with males reaching up to a jaw dropping 7.9 feet. However, intense hunting took them down a notch, and nowadays, male river otters stretch between 4.9 to 5.5 feet from head to tail, while females measure between 3.3 to 4.9 feet. though their powerful muscle-bound tails add another 28 inches to their total length. Adding to its already impressive physique, the giant otter's creepy countenance amps up its devilish vibe. Its short, sloping muzzles give its head a round, almost sinister look. Those small, rounded ears hug close to its head, creating a sleek, streamlined silhouette. Then, they have huge, expressive eyes that cut through the water like they can see straight into your soul. Topping it all off, those fearsome jaws and slit-like nostrils make the entire outlook downright ominous. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the giant river otter's qualities is its ability to confront predators that should have it for lunch. Besides caimans and anacondas, it also goes toe-to-toe with the biggest South American predator, jaguars. In fact, giant otters are actually known as water jaguars or river wolves in Portuguese and Spanish. This just goes to show how these mighty creatures stand parallel on the food chain against such formidable foes. By and large, their standoffs are all about food resources, and surprisingly, the giant otters manage to send the jaguars packing in the majority of cases. In a nail-biting showdown, these two jaguars were put on edge by a lone, unstoppable river otter holding them off for a hot minute before the whole group of otters emerged from the river, sending the big cats running for dear life. Humans, on the other hand, are fortunate enough not to be their primary interest. These fearsome creatures often avoid human settings and typically shy away in case of an encounter. But should you ever dare to press them against their will, these vicious beasts can unleash their wrath in the most brutal, savage way possible. As of now, there's no official account of a human being killed by a giant river otter in any case. However, these giant otters aren't just furious, they're social animals too. Living in tight-knit family groups of 2 to 20 individuals, they claim a whopping 4.6 square miles as their turf. Each family includes a mated pair and their offspring of several generations. Yet, if an intruder dares to mess with them, they stick together and fight tooth and nail to protect one another. But within their clan, it's all peace and love, at least for the most part of the year. Giant otters are also known for being extremely noisy, with a complex vocal repertoire producing up to 22 distinct types of vocalization in adults. Each family of otters can even have its own unique audio signature. In the heat of late spring to early summer, these creatures hit their breeding season peak. Being mostly monogamous, they stick with their partners for life. After mating, they carry their young for 65 to 70 days, with the pups born between late August and early October. Each litter consists of 1 to 5 pups, who remain in the family den for their first 2 to 3 weeks. By 1 month, their eyes are open, and they start following their parents out. Weaned at 3 to 4 months, they're independent hunters by 9 to 10 months, looking like miniature versions of their fierce folks. Throughout history, the giant river otter has been a prized catch for its sumptuous fur. Typically chocolate brown, it might also sport reddish or fawn shades, turning almost black when soaked. The fur is so thick that water can't reach the skin, and guard hairs repel water, keeping the inner fur dry. This bounty of fur makes the otter a prime target for poachers, and when coupled with modern perils like pollution and habitat loss, their survival hangs by a thread. The IUCN Red List doesn't have a precise count of these giants, but they're classified as endangered, with their numbers dwindling. Despite that, there's no real clampdown on this illegal poaching right now. Oddly enough, the poaching community would go so far as to even defend their actions, claiming it as their bread and butter. Whatever it is, it doesn't make it any less controversial. What do you think? Should the fur trade of such endangered species be banned worldwide, or is that just an unfair hit on certain cultural practices and livelihoods? Share your 2 cents down in the comments below. That being said, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.